Black culture is music, it's fashion, it's language, it's everything. If someone asks me, like, what does Black music mean to me? It's really like, what does Black culture mean? And it's not even just to me, but I would say, what does Black culture mean to the world? There's something special about Black culture. Hi, I'm Amerie. I am a multi-hyphenate. I just like to say I create, because that's what I do. I create music. I'm a Grammy-nominated artist. I've also done some acting, and I'm a huge book nerd, and I recently founded Ameries Book Club. I am a military brat, and when you grow up that way, you do learn a lot of truths really early. One of the big things was I learned that culturally we're different, but people are the same. I also grew up in a very mixed environment. So for me, it was no big deal to be Korean and Black. Literally like 50% of the people were mixed, and it was not a big deal. So later when I got a lot older and people would ask me, like, what does that feel like? Ooh, and I was like, well, this is not a big deal. So it surprised me that people were so interested in that. We had a lot of different music in the house, and I think that influenced me a lot. Tchaikovsky, Elvis, Barbra Streisand, and the Bee Gees, which I loved. Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Prince, and the Grease soundtrack. I can hear all of those influences in every single album. And then I'm bringing new wave, I like heavy metal, R&B. I'm bringing in everything that I would bring in as a kid. So I feel like I was literally influenced by everything. Rich is, I believe, hands down, one of the most talented producers. A few years before Rich and I met, I was trying to put together a girl group. It never really happened. 2.5 years after that, I talked to Rich on the phone. We arranged a meeting. He had such incredible music. And like a week or two later, we decided to just start recording. I mean, everything happened so quickly. As far as like having someone pave the way for me in the industry who's a person of color, I don't think that question ever really crossed my mind. For me, it was just about the music. My assumption was that Black people are making Black music. I never felt like I am a person of color going into an industry that is heavily dominated by white men. It wasn't really a thought in the beginning. I didn't know enough yet. It wasn't until later where I think I was really able to see some of the discrepancies. I noticed it as an artist traveling, and I would see that a lot of stations were playing a lot of Black music and making their existence on Black music, but did not have Black program directors or music directors. And these were things that were so shocking to me. If you have Black music playing such a prominent role on radio, over 50% to me of those leadership positions should be filled by someone who's Black, because you're making money directly from that market. And you have to make sure that you are not just appropriating everything. As a person who's listening to something, or an artist walking into a radio station, and I'm seeing how much advertising is coming in via the music that you're playing and it's Black, and I don't see nary a Black face, then I feel like we have a huge discrepancy. And the thing is, for all of the hardships we encounter, for all of the anti-Blackness that exists, people around the world definitely seem to love our culture. And I think there's a strength in that. I think it's important that Black culture is appreciated and celebrated, but not so much just Black culture, but Black people. And I think that there's a discrepancy there, and hopefully we can bridge that gap. In a lot of ways, it's been a very tough year for everyone. But I think that regarding the racial reckoning that's happening, it just feels like finally people are paying attention to the thing that, Black people specifically have been saying for decades. And then there's, of course, a lot of anti-Asian violence, but that's also always happened too. It just hasn't been as brought to the forefront. It's important to remember the game that's been set up. The hierarchy that white supremacy, or the delusion of white supremacy, sets up is that there is a hierarchy when it comes to people who are non-white. And it's not a people of color against a white people thing, because it's actually an anti-racism thing. We do have to dismantle white supremacy because it's not real. Because it's what built America, we have to work a lot harder to just uproot the garden and plant new flowers. What's happening right now, it's really affected my parenting in that it's made me realize we have to get to where we're getting to faster. The kids are they're all little geniuses. All of them are. I think my little one he's pretty advanced, All kids are geniuses and they absorb everything. And so it's really important to me that we're cognizant of what he's looking at and what he sees. River loves books, which is also why I wanted to do this whole project or initiative in which, I wanted to see children, who look like my son reflected more in children's books. I felt starved for it, really. I was scrolling, looking for books for him. And I was like, this shouldn't be this hard in 2020 to find great picture books where he doesn't become othered because all of his media are filled with children who don't look like him. And I do feel like that's changing, but we still have a long way to go. What's up, guys? It's Amerie, and I wanted to tell you what I was going to be reading. a little over a year ago, I founded Ameries Book Club. I like to say it's the modern book club for the modern reader. So it exists online. We have a new book every single month. And then at the end of every month, I do a live chat with the author and then talk a lot about what they've put into their book, but from a different angle in which they may be used to discussing their book. I wanted to feel like we're just chatting. We're friends just chatting in the middle of the night about life. And so I think that casual atmosphere really lends a lot to the book club and making it distinct. It's been a really, really awesome experience. And I really do consider it to be a privilege to speak to so many people who create art. In general, society is a little afraid of women in positions of power. It was so great to be part of Femme It Forward, but I loved doing that. I loved meeting some other artists I'd never really met before. It really kind of helped blossom some friendships. I think it's awesome that Femme It Forward also has a female promoter. Well, they say there's no real multitasking. We're handling a lot. Heather, who's the promoter of Femme It Forward, is also a mother as well. And so I think there are so many things that women bring to the table. Maybe men can take a note from our playbook and see that we don't have to be like men. Maybe they could be a little more like us, and we'd have a much more balanced, successful workplace. The next thing I have on the horizon, I have such big ideas and so many things that I want to achieve. I don't really know what my legacy is to be yet. I'm still working on it. I do want to, at the very least, leave the world a better place. Hi, it's Ameriie, and this is my rhythm and my blues.